Welcome everybody to the meeting. I remind everybody that the meeting is being live streamed to YouTube. Apologies. Are there any apologies or members joining remotely? Can't see any members joining remotely. Are there any apologies?
No, I've not received any apologies, Chair.
Okay, can I give the apology please for Helen Purcell? Purnell even.
Noted, thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from anyone, please? Remind you that there's disclosable pecuniary interest and also affected interest, which must be disclosed. Any? None? Thank you. Item 3 is the minutes. Is there any matter arising or points of accuracy on the minutes, please? None? Then I would like to propose the minutes are adopted as correct record. Can I ask for a seconder, please, for that? Councillor Bailey. Thank you.
I second those, Leader.
Thank you very much. Can I ask for everybody to have a show of hands for adoption of those minutes? Thank you. Item 4, the exciting one, urgent items of business.
No, none notified, Chair.
Thank you. Then we come to item 5, which is the draft local nature recovery strategy. Can I ask Councillor Gilby, please, to propose this? Present it.
Thank you, Leader. Colleagues, the draft Berkshire Local Nature Recovery Strategy is not just a recognition of this county's commitment to nature recovery, but our ability as neighbouring authorities to work together on an issue that transcends council borders. This consultation represents an important step in its progression, allowing residents and stakeholders to contribute towards an effective strategy that safeguards our natural heritage. Local nature recovery strategies are a national requirement, with the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead designated the lead authority in Berkshire, in partnership with the other councils. The strategy outlines the priorities for nature recovery and proposes actions in locations where they would make a particular contribution to achieving those priorities. Development of the strategy was a collaborative enterprise, engaging the community through a steering group, working groups, workshops, webinars and surveys. And I would like to express my thanks to all those who took part. For those listening in, I would encourage you to check out the Royal Borough's website on the consultation, which includes a useful video summarising its importance. As the video rightly says from its outset, Berkshire may be a small county, but its wildlife is extraordinary. We have habits of many types, or should I say habitats of many types. Woodland, chalk, wet habitat, heathland, and general urban and agricultural land. The species we must safeguard are too numerous to name, but includes varieties of butterflies, bats, beetles, birds, fish, flowers, hedgehogs, moths, otters, squirrels, and owls. Try saying that 10 times fast. The strategy includes action points for each type of habitat on how we preserve our natural wildlife. In terms of the strategy's implementation, the Royal Borough are responsible for reporting on progress and periodically updating the strategy every 3 to 10 years. The exact timing of this will be detailed by DEFRA. After the consultation, a new version of the strategy will be presented to Cabinet for approval. Colleagues, I commend the report as presented and recommend approval of the recommendations so we may put this draft out to consultation. Thank you.
Thank you. Has there anybody got a question that they would like to ask? No questions of Andrew Hunter, Executive Director? None? Okay, thank you. Can I then ask the member to move the recommendations 3.1 to 3.3 on page 31?
Leader, I do so propose.
Thank you. Can I ask for a seconder, please?
Councillor Bibbar, happy to second this.
Thank you. Can I ask the mover if he wishes to speak?
I reserve, Leader.
Can I ask the seconder if he wishes to speak?
I too will reserve.
Is there any other member who wishes to speak? Can I just say that I think this is a really important document And it's interesting listening to reading the species, the shortlist, and the priorities for recovery. And I think everybody should really get involved in making sure that this, and reading this, and making sure how valuable all our biodiversity is, and how this plan actually helps preserve it and get some of it to be restored. Anyone else wish to speak? Can I ask the mover to wind up, please?
Thank you, Leader. I have nothing to add beyond what you just said.
Can I then ask for a vote? All those in favour, will you please raise your hands? Thank you. We then move to item 6, which is the Community Safety Plan. And I will move this. I will present this report. The plan is based on this plan is based on a comprehensive review of local crime and disorder data. It's been involved with lots of partner feedback and resident consultation, which will be reviewed annually. Everyone wants to live in a safe place, and the plan reflects this by focusing on areas of crime and disorder residents have said is the most important to them. The aim throughout the plan, there's the aim, how this will be achieved, and the outcomes expected. The 5 priorities are crime and antisocial behaviour hotspots, town centre and antisocial behaviour, domestic abuse, domestic violence, and also hate crime and disorder, and serious violence. Throughout the plan, there is action that should be taken and how this will be reported. At the end of the plan is a really important plea from the police to please take the time to report all crime and antisocial behaviour to the police, because if the police don't know about it, they can't help. The whole thing has been drawn together with with a lot of partners working to make sure that these are the priorities for action in the next 3 years, 2024 to 27. Has anyone got any questions they would like to ask Gráinne Siggins, Executive Director of People? Any? No? Right, thank you. Okay, I'd like to move the recommendation on page 45, 3.1 to 3.2. Can I ask for a seconder, please? Councillor Bailey, thank you.
Councillor Bailey, I second that.
Thank you very much. To speak to this, I've said, I think, as much as it can, it is partnership, it's related, it's referring to as a consultation, it came back, what were the priorities and the fears of, and evidence and issues from the residents, as well as other stakeholders. And I think, based on evidence, this is a really important document and gives a way in which we can move forward. Would the seconder like to speak?
Yes, I would, Chair. Councillor Roy Bailey, I'm really pleased to second this. The consultation process has been rigorous and comprehensive. It started with the relevant agencies themselves. There's been a public consultation, as well as an extensive consultation with the Bracknell Forest Community Safety Partnership. And I'm really pleased with the priorities that have been determined. They're all very important priorities, and I'm happy to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? To wind up, I would just like to say that these recommended priorities combine crime and disorder, which are most prevalent or most requested for focus by partners and residents, or increasing in trend, or preventing the crime of high harm to keep existing levels low is important, or where we are required to do work through a government duty, all taken into consideration and all part of this plan. So I would like to move recommendations page 45, 3.1 to 3.2. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. We then move on to the item 7, which is the Youth Justice Plan, 2024 to 2027. I would like to present this plan. This is a statutory plan developed following prescribed content guidance from National Youth Justice Board. The proposed plan is aligned with the Council priorities. It's evidence-based, and the progress against the action plan will be reported bi-monthly. It sets out how youth justice services will prevent offending behaviour and reduce reoffending. The Youth Justice Plan is a crucial document that reflects the local area's commitment to addressing youth crime and supporting young people at risk of offending. It ensures that youth justice services align with the national standards and priorities, and it provides a framework for local authorities to work collaboratively with partner agencies to deliver effective interventions. There were 22 first-time entrants in 23-24, according to this plan, but the reoffending rates are very low. In November 23, there was an inspection, and the result for that was there was a good inspection result. Throughout the plan, it says how the Youth Justice Management Board members are listening to the children's voice, so that they can actually say what it has been like as a child and an offender, and what the experience has been like and how they've been supported and helped. Is there anybody who would like a question to ask Gráinne Siggins, Executive Director of People, on this plan? Councillor Bigwell.
Thank you, Leader. Very good plan. I just wondered how we compare not just with our neighbouring authorities, but other authorities within the South East, as far as both incidents of and plans available to be able to address those issues.
So on the detailed question, I'll invite Alison O'Meara.
Okay.
Because she will have examples.
Chair, would you like me to respond to that?
Yes, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. We do have some comparative data. It's not with me this evening, but it is something that I can extract and forward on for information.
Thank you. I think myself and my colleagues would find that very useful.
That's fine.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? No? Thank you. Then I'd like to move the report, please. And the recommendations. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bailey.
Councillor Bailey, I'm happy to second this motion.
Thank you. Moving 3.1 to 3.3 on page 83. This is that the Youth Justice Plan be recommended for the Council for approval, that the Executive Director People be authorised to make any minor textual changes prior to submission to the Council, that the Council note that the Youth Justice Plan is expected to be delivered by utilising external and internal funding, including 36,111 of time-limited grant funding. Would the seconder like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just to say, this is a pivotal document, and I know I've read through all of this. I'm aware of the rigorous consultation that's taken place between the statutory agencies and also the broader public. So I'm convinced what's here is what needs to happen, and thank you to the team that's responsible for it. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak? Can I say the whole process, the whole of this plan is child-first approach, and I think that's to be really recommended. And the Youth Justice team has now moved into the Willows Family Hub, which is a child-friendly, confidential space for children to be supported. And this whole plan is to support the children and to stop reoffending and help those that are and give them support to change their lives. I ask everybody that in support of this plan to raise their hands. Thank you. We then come on to item 8, which is the draft local plan for for consultation. Local transport plan for public consultation. Can I ask Councillor Gilby to present this plan, please?
Thank you, Leader. Colleagues, I have the pleasure of presenting this draft version of the Local Transport Plan 4, hereafter I refer to as LTP4. As the name suggests, this is the 4th iteration of a local transport plan for Bracknell Forest, but unlike previous versions, which were reactive to existing transport patterns, this version outlines proactive measures for encouraging a balanced transport vision which affords ease of accessibility for residents and visitors while striving towards our contribution in the fight against climate change. If approved tonight, the draft will go out for consultation, a consultation which will get out from behind our website and reach out into the community, a continued reiteration of this administration's commitment to working collaboratively with residents in the decision-making process. The new LTP will support the Council's wider vision and objectives for future development within the borough, as set out in the local plan which was adopted in March 2024. For this reason, the LTP4 will be aligned with the local plan to support future growth up to 2037. LTP4 strives for an increased usage of active travel networks, inclusive access for all, and a transport network that supports economic growth and sustainability. Bracknell Forest continues to be a pioneering borough, with the plan outlining how new technologies will be embraced, as well as our most ambitious targets yet for decarbonisation. Addressing concerns raised in the pre-consultation, the plan continues to recognise that car usage will remain a cornerstone of our travel network, within the wider objective of encouraging more zero and low emission vehicles, but that we must offer wider choice for residents to pursue other methods of transportation. To this end, this plan features greater utilisation of the borough's walking and cycling network, a rapid growth in the provision of electric vehicle charging infrastructure, exploring changes in the way public transport is provided, and a targeted approach to providing safer walking and cycling routes to school, which I might add was the focus of a cross-party motion agreed at full council. After consultation, a new version will be presented to Cabinet for approval. Colleagues, I would ask that you encourage all residents in your wards to engage with this consultation. This plan is a plan for all, and the more engagement, the more effective it will be. Members, I commend the report and support the recommendations for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to ask the Executive Director for Place, Andrew Hunter, any questions? None? Thank you. Can I ask the Councillor Gilby to move this recommendation, please?
Councillor Gilby, I so move.
Can I ask for a seconder?
Councillor Bibber, happy to second this motion.
Thank you. Can I ask the move if he wishes to speak, please?
I reserve, Leader.
The seconder like to speak?
Yes, I'm delighted to second this consultation. We've been waiting with bated breath for it. It fits into the local plan, of course, and also heavily supports the economic strategy. I absolutely applaud the detail which goes into, and I can't wait to see the feedback from residents about the various aspects. Communication touches everybody in the borough, and I'm glad to see that the plan addresses nearly every resident in the borough and how they would interact with transport. So I'm happy to second this.
Does anyone else like to speak? I would just like to commend the vision which says to develop a sustainable and resilient transport network that reduces carbon, provides choice and access for all in a safe, healthy environment, making Bracknell Forest a desirable place to live, work and grow. I will just say that there is a target throughout here for net zero to 2050, and it does say that we'll try wherever possible to beat this national target. I understand that's a national target, but I really would love 2030 to be put there, because that's my target and that's the Bracknell Forest target. But so just, it would be lovely if all the ambition went into that. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
Thank you, Chair. I'd also like to say that it's really good to see promotion of active travel from a public health point of view, encouraging people not to use their cars, and it would be interesting to see the results of that from the public consultation. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Gilby, would you like to wind up?
Leader, I'll simply reiterate that this plan is not an either-or. It's not an either-or between our climate change goals and economic sustainability, economic growth. It's in fact achieving both at the same time. This is the real strength of this plan. And when we talk about the different transport options available, what we're offering residents is a fuller choice. That's what residents ultimately want. They want the ability, many of them, not just to have to rely on their car all the time. And this plan is about giving them harder options to be able to work towards our common goals. So in that spirit, I think this plan goes a long way towards the sort of goals that you're describing, Leader.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour of the recommendations 31 and 32 on page 145 to raise your hands, please? Thank you. That's carried. We then go on to item 9, which is the attendance strategy request for public consultation. And can I ask the Cabinet member to, Roy Bailey, please, to propose this, move this, report it?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Councillor Roy Bailey. This is an important consultation. A structured consultation has been developed, including a combination of methods to consult all relevant stakeholders, providing opportunities for schools, parents and carers, children and young people, including members of this council, voluntary organisations and other statutory organisations, to give their views on the proposed strategy. This will be rigorous, thoroughgoing and accessible. It is really important that we capture all the available evidence and insights. It includes the following elements. The consultation plan includes an online survey that individuals and organisations will be invited to complete. It is proposed to run the survey for a period of 9 weeks, from the 18th of November to the 17th of January 2025. Member workshops or other opportunity for members to provide comments. Consultation workshops targeting schools, parents and carers, internal colleagues and other groups of professionals. Invitation to key stakeholders to submit written comments by email. In addition, a communication plan will be developed to ensure that the consultation is promoted widely. This will include promoting the attendance strategy and online survey on the Council's website, the use of the intranet and external newsletters, such as Forest Views, targeted emails to key contacts and organisations. Once the consultation is complete and the response is analysed, the proposed strategy will be finalised and presented to the Cabinet for approval on the 26th of March. The proposed go-live date for the strategy is April 2025. Thank you, Chair. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Can I ask if anyone would like to ask Ronja Siggins, Executive Director of People, if you have any questions, please, on this? Technical questions? None? Thank you. Can I ask the member to move the recommendation on page 181, 31 and 32, please?
Yes, Chair, I move this recommendation. Thank you.
Can I ask for a seconder? I'll second this. Can I ask the mover if he wishes to speak?
I've really got nothing further to add other than this has been thought through very carefully and I'm delighted to support it.
I would just like to say that this is the first time there's been a statutory guidance on school attendance, and I think it's all working together to improve school attendance. It's responsibility. It does emphasise this is responsibility for all of us to actually make sure children come to school. It demonstrates a strong correlation between good school attendance and positive outcomes for children. It explains what they're going to do, what we're going to do, what outcomes are being sought, and how we know we're making a difference. And again, I say, the whole point is that the attendance is a priority for everybody. Is there anyone else wishes to speak? Would the mover like to sum up?
I don't think I've got anything further to say, Chair. We've covered it all. Thank you.
Can I ask those all in favour to raise their hands, please? Thank you. We now go on to item 10, which is the Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman Annual Review Letter 2023 to 2024. Can I ask Councillor Paul Bidwell to move this, please?
Thank you, Leader. This report presents the Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman LGS SECO Annual Review Letter for the financial year 2023-24, detailing the Council's performance in handling complaints. The Cabinet is advised to note that LGSCO's Annual Review Letter for 2024, including any recommendations from the Overview and Scrutiny Commission meeting on October 17th. The LGSCO has become more selective in investigations, contributing to higher upheld rates. The report emphasises the importance of good complaints handling for service improvement and maintaining the Council's reputation. It notes no significant legal or financial implications and confirms that the report is a management tool without equalities, impact or health considerations. The annual review letter serves as a vital resource for assessing the Council's complaints handling performance and identifying areas of further improvement. So I would ask the Cabinet to agree and note this letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Has anyone got any questions that they would like to ask? Corporate Complaints. Is Jen Lawson here? Oh, there. Oh, thank you. Jen Lawson, Head of Corporate Complaints. Have you got any questions you would like to ask? None? Can I then ask the mover if he would move the page 213, recommendation 3.1?
Yes, Leader, I so move.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? I'll second that. Would the mover like to speak?
No, I don't have anything to add, Leader.
The only thing I would like to add is that there were 279 complaints, 78% of which were not escalated beyond stage 1. So this does illustrate that the Council is really focused on early resolution. And I think it also shows how we actually learn from these reports, learn how we can make it better and how we can actually improve our performance in the future. So I think it's a really good report, and I think the fact that there are most of it is with SEN complaints, as it's been said, but we're learning all the time. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Gilby?
Leader, just to echo your point, it must be emphasised that this council does have a 3-stage internal complaints process. There are quite a lot of other councils that have, for example, only a 2-stage process. So whilst there are indeed things that we need to learn from this, I think that we also have to reflect on our strengths with our internal process and how much that is able to resolve complaints before they reach the Ombudsman. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Thank you. Would the mover like to wind up?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say about this. I just advise the Cabinet to agree with this motion.
Thank you. Can I ask all those in favour of the recommendations, please raise your hand. Thank you. I then ask for the next part includes some information which is confidential, and therefore I would have to ask the exclusion of the press and the public if our debate and our discussion goes into this confidential, the pink papers that are included as part of this. We've never yet had to close one of these meetings because we've never yet had to go into this discussion, and I really don't want to have that to happen. So can I ask if there is anybody who really wants to go in to that to the pink papers as part of the appropriation of land at Downshire Golf Course? In that case, I will wish to continue to keep this as a public open meeting. And I just ask that if during the meeting somebody does want to go into that, you let us know, because then we will have to close the meeting. So item 11 is the appropriation of land at Downshire Golf Course. Can I ask a Cabinet member to introduce this, please?
Thank you, Leader, I think. Yes, this has been quite an emotional discussion so far. It is a fact that the local authority is statutorily obliged to be able to provide a certain amount of burial spaces, and we are now running out. So the only way that we can continue to comply with our statutory requirements is to find other land, and the land has been identified as land that we do own, which is the pitch and putt at Downshire Golf Complex. Now, obviously, this is well used, but we can't let that get in the way of our statutory obligations. There are other facilities within the borough or adjacent to the borough that could be used, Woking Family Golf Course, Lavender Park, Billing Bear, Blackwater, and I also think, from memory, there's a pitch and putt at Jocks Lane. But in any case, we don't really have any alternative. And I would urge Cabinet members to agree with me and agree to the appropriation of this land for burial purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask if anyone's got any question of Damien James, Assistant Director of Contract Services, for any technical questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Just to confirm that we have had one objection to the appropriation that is in the report in front of you. There are three parts to the objection, which I will cover in a second. So the first part is that the objector has said there is other land that could be used for burial, and proximity to the current cemetery is not required. The Cabinet will be aware that we had a previous overview and scrutiny review back in 2019 where 5 potential sites were investigated, and the pitch and putt land was deemed to be the most suitable option. Alternative sites were either unviable or not in the council's ownership, which would mean purchasing additional land, making it uneconomic. There is no suitable alternative to the proposed site, and land adjacent to the existing facility is ideal for a cemetery extension. The second part of the objection is merits of maintaining the land as a golf course is more important than a resting place for the departed. The merits of whether a pitch and putt golf course is more important than a cemetery is subjective. There are other similar golfing facilities which the Cabinet member has just outlined in the report locally, which are detailed, and they can provide mitigation for the loss of the pitch and putt. And indeed, the facilities at Downshire have recently been invested in with the addition of TrackMan, which provides a virtual and physical golf experience. The proposal does not impact on the main golf course or any other facility at Downshire Golf Complex. And the final part of the objection is golfing facilities are being removed in the wider area with others to follow. Clearly, I can't comment on that specific statement. But what I can say is, as we've outlined before, there are other alternatives within a relatively short distance of the existing facility. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Are there any other questions anyone like to put forward? No? Can I ask that if Councillor Bidwell will move this recommendation then on page 229, 3133?
Yes, Leader, I'm happy to move this recommendation.
Can I have a seconder? I'll second this. Okay, would the mover like to speak?
I don't think I have anything else to add to my previous statement. We don't really have an alternative, and although the pitch and putt is well used. There are already some other alternatives that can be used.
The second to speak, I would just like to say that we'll have no further burial space at East Hampstead Park Cemetery and Crematorium for mid-2025. And I think if you live in the borough, it is really important that you have somewhere very near if you require your loved ones to be buried. And it isn't just for the dead. When you go to the crematorium and to the cemetery, it's for the living relatives. It's a place where you go and you feel near, and it's important. I'd also like to say that there are some faiths for which burial is the only permitted option. I'd also like to say, and this will get, that we need actually to maintain those grounds to the high standard they are. And that requires £200,000 per year. And I do think that having this as an extra to the crematorium and the cemetery, which is very valued within Bracknell Forest, is the right thing to do. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Would the mover like to wind up?
Thank you, Leader. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with what you've said. A cemetery is a vital part of any community for the reasons you've stated. We have to maintain our cemeteries at the highest level of upkeep so that nearest and dearest can attend there any time they want to and be near to those that they've just lost. So I would advise and hope that the Cabinet will agree with this.
Thank you. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. And with that, I declare the meeting closed.